All right, we got everyone on the stage now that we need for now. Welcome everyone to the Manufacturing E-commerce Masterclass series. I'm Damon from Exit Your Way. Just blessed to have you here. We've got Curt Anderson from B2B Tail with us, another sponsor of the show. And we got today our presenter, Jeff Long from True Focus Media. So Curt, take it away.
Well, guys, thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I can't thank the team at Exit Your Way. I know we've got a few new folks on here. Exit Your Way is out of Seattle. They are succession strategists, experts. Damon is a rock star. His partner, Andrew Cross, our good friend, and Ira Bowman is in the crowd. He just shouted out hello in the chat box there. So thank you for all your support, Ira. So guys, this is a new platform to many of you. It's Remo. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do our presentation here. And what the concept is, we're going to do this on a weekly basis, bring high-level e-commerce expertise to you every week, great experts from around the country. The chat, feel free to be vibrant in the chat box over here to the right. Say hello, drop your LinkedIn profile in there. This is a networking opportunity. We want to keep these short and concise. We're going to deliver high messages to you every week. And then when you're done, please feel free to stick around. We go back to what we call those tables where you just were. You can have conversations with the presenter. You can network with each other. So again, thank you for taking time. My name's Curt Anderson, and I am absolutely thrilled. I don't think I've slept a week because we're so excited for this program. And I get to introduce none other, my dear friend, Jeff Long. And Jeff Long hails from Dayton, Ohio. He's a new father this year. Jeff Long is an e-commerce guru, and when I say guru, he truly walks the walk. And he's been in e-commerce since 2003. Does e-commerce. He's a video marketing expert, and he has a bunch of great tips for us today. With that, Jeff, thank you so much, buddy. Take it over.
Wow. First of all, I appreciate the invite. How do I even live up to that, right?
And let me share one more thing. So I do a number of these webinars, and I had the blessing of doing one in Alaska next week. I wish it was really in Alaska. It was really in my basement, but I wanted to do Alaska, and I needed somebody to pull in to team up with. And I returned to my good buddy, Jeff Long. And by the way, Jeff, you've got 2 weeks to turn around a brand new program, and he absolutely crushed it. So Jeff, thank you. So again, take it over, buddy.
All right. Awesome. Well, hey, I know I have limited time. I want to respect your time. And then I'm really excited for after kind of more of the presentation to sit at the tables with people. So whether it's learning more about you or just talking about the topic, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, Let me switch over to the slides here. And
now on the slides, you're going to see that there's the 4 arrows. You can click on that in your screen and maximize it so we can all see the presentation full screen on your computer.
Yes, thank you for saying that. So today we're going to be talking about 7 things your website can do to automate marketing, increase sales, and boost SEO. And so just a real brief synopsis about me is I started the company in 2003, work with manufacturing companies to help them automate their systems from a marketing and sales perspective. So that's what I want to talk about here today. So we do marketing automation, website design, development, and e-commerce, video marketing, and e-learning. And we're going to be talking about a lot of those here today. And so these are the 7 steps I want to talk about. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you, right? There's a lot we can all do in any business, but I just want you to think, okay, what's maybe one thing I can do, one thing I can learn more, one thing we can pursue internally or hire out externally, whatever that is. Just be thinking one thing. Don't think all this stuff because it can get overwhelming. But let's start at the ground floor here. So first thing is, I've worked with small machine shops all the way up to big. I'm working with a multinational $100 billion in revenue a year company, right? Most companies are not what I call customer centric. So here's how you know. Think of your own company's website. And I might step on some toes here, so I apologize ahead of time. Does your website primarily say us, we, our company? Does it a lot of self-talk, or does it talk about you and your needs and your problems and here's who you are, right? Most companies default to here's how long we've been in business. Here's our products or services. Aren't we great? You should buy from us. And sometimes we wonder why there's crickets. It's because we're not customer centric. Our website, our marketing, our brochures are only about our company. So be thinking, what can you do that's customer centric? That's what I want to start off with, whether it's your marketing, your print, your website, any of that, your e-commerce, customer centric. All right, so the next thing here is Learning Center. Now, a lot of people may call this content marketing. It's the same thing. But I want you to be thinking of, again, being customer centric. What type of material can we create that our customers will want to read, right? Our ideal customer. Because they're already searching for your products and services. And as you may know, customers are going to be searching even before they pick up the phone call. In fact, 81% of shoppers conduct online research before making big purchases, even small purchases these days, right? So think about your own needs, your own patterns, your own buying habits. That's what your customers are doing too. So since they're searching for solutions to their own problems, what materials can you create? So a couple I recommend, we've seen really good results with the companies we help, is case studies, right? Think of some of your best case studies, write some material on it. Articles, white papers, videos. We'll talk about videos here in a minute. Podcasts, webinars. I mean, I could go on and on about the content we'll be talking about, but those are just a few. In fact, whenever you're creating content, picture your ideal customer. Okay, not all of your customers, right? But just like your top 20%. And those might be the easiest to work with, the most profitable. I don't know what your 20% is, but I know I kind of know mine. Write content, create content for those companies. And again, make it customer centric, right? I believe, is it next week, maybe with Gretchen's session, she'll be talking about customer personas. She's going to go in depth on this. And if it's somebody else, I apologize. But so come back next week, obviously, for those sessions in the next week and the following weeks, where they'll talk about customer centric buying personas. So all the content you create should be geared towards exact people. I've worked with a lot of companies, and they say, you know what? We work with a lot of industries, a lot of companies. We're just going to shotgun stuff out there and hope for the best. And that rarely works as effectively as if you know your exact customers and target them and create content just for them. Now, speaking of webinars, I mentioned webinars a second ago. Obviously, we're on one, right? So what you can do is, if your company creates webinars, and I would highly recommend that you do, especially in this day and age, is once you're done with the webinar, you can chop it up into little chunks. Have 3 to 5 minute little mini segments that you can then post on social media, in your email newsletter or your email signature, right? We all send hundreds of emails out a day or a week. Why not have a rotating short little video segment that you promote in that email signature? So there's a lot, we could talk about with webinars. Actually, one more thing. You can then repurpose that webinar. You can put it on your website and put what's called a gate on it. So you could have this evergreen webinar where you ask people, hey, to get access to the webinar, just put in your name and email, and you'll immediately get into the webinar, and they can get in, whether it's a live webinar or a recorded one. So just something to consider there. All right. So website automation. This is kind of the crux of what my company does. So I'll try not to go long here. I want to be very short. So I want to give you a couple ideas. Here's what we're seeing being really effective. Again, we specialize in using technology to save time. So we want to make it easier for you and more efficient, but we also want to make it easier for the customer, right? So how do they get the information they want and need in a timely manner at any hour of the day, right? 24/7. So whether they're surfing the web on their couch Saturday night or during business hours, how can we give them the information they're already looking for? So first thing, quote calculators. We're creating different quote calculators so a customer can go on, enter in some numbers, and get a rough quote estimate, right? And I get it. I get a lot of kickback from this, Jeff. Not in our industry. We've got blah, blah, blah. And I get that. I really do. We've built some of these for companies, and they've seen some good results. So like they're breaking the norm. So if they can do it, maybe you should at least consider it. All right. I know different industries are different, maybe yours, but as a whole, try to break some rules and see what can be done. The next thing is custom RFQ forms. So I have an example here. Monahan Tools, we have a custom quote tool. It has a lot of information that they ask, but they don't require that you enter in all this information. So it could be, at first, obviously you have to put in your name and email, but then they have a lot of different data points where if you're able and willing to put those in, it helps Monahan Tooling get a better quote for you. And then we've tied it into Monahan's CRM so they can manage this new lead, right? In fact, I was just checking today and I was looking at the different dates and timestamps of all of these quotes. And I was surprised how many they get on a weekly basis. So instead of somebody having to pick up the phone, talk to a person, let's be honest, we're all kind of lazy. We're used to like filling out a form or whatever. Take advantage of that because somebody can do this 24/7. And then one more thing or two more things is custom contact forms, right? So maybe you have a custom contact form where the user can check a box and based on what they selected, that form will get sent to a specific department. Okay, so maybe it's engineering, maybe it's sales, maybe it's customer service, whatever that is, that's possible. So again, I'm trying to open up your mind to how can we use technology to save you time, save your customers time, which in turn will help you make more money and be more efficient. Everybody wins. Another thing to consider with website automation is a back-end portal. So we've created these back-end portals where maybe a customer needs to log in to upload or download different reports or data sheets or whatever that is. Or maybe it's employees or distributors or whatever that is. Think about like a back-end where each person has their own username and password, can access information. It's not on your main website. That way you don't have to email back and forth or worry about Dropbox or something like that. And then lastly, with this website automation, and I'm not even talking about marketing automation here. This is all tools that your website could have on it, is e-learning. This is something that we're just seeing exploding. So think of new hire training, safety training, product. Maybe it's product setup or whatever for your customer. What could you automate through training that could be utilized 24/7? And so there's a lot of things there, even like new hire or certifications, or you could tie that in with some of your pay grade things there. And so you can know when they've watched the video for the training, how long they watched, if they took the quiz, if they passed the quiz. Like there's a lot you can automate there. And I get it. There's some things you have to have in person, right? You have to have some different safety things or hands-on. Perfectly understand. But what could you automate through e-learning? All right. So moving along. And if there's questions, feel free to jump in. I don't see any questions. So Curt, feel free to, hop in if there are any questions. I know I'm kind of going fast, but I want to respect our time here. So video. Video is exploding, right? And think about it. Would you rather, if you're searching for any type of information, would you rather read a long article about it or watch a video? Most people would rather watch a video. All right. So what types of videos can you create that can get your ideal customer's attention? So it used to be when I first started my company in 2003, we would primarily only do big marketing pieces, big company promos and all these things. And those are fine, but we're seeing it being more effective when we do content videos, tutorials, setup videos, safety videos, FAQ videos. I mean, obviously these webinars, virtual tours, and I'll show you here in a second some examples. So one example is Stober Drives. They are an amazing company, amazing people. They're awesome. I could go on and on. We've been working with them for several years, and we pitched an idea to them called Video Valet. So every month we create video content for them, and they can post it on social and newsletters, and we help them with like over 40 different places to post it. But it's different here because there's actually an ROI tied to it. At the end of each video, there's just a subtle mention. Hey, if you like the content of this video but want to learn more, we have a free download that you can check out. So at the end of these videos, you can see there the form, and they can download on how to best practices on torque arm mounting. So it used to be, hey, I would ask clients, how'd that video go? And they said, fine, I guess. Well, now we can say, wow, there's an actual lead that watched the video, filled out the form. Now it's in your CRM. How great is that? So, there's different ways to use videos even internally. You guys can do with your smartphones, or you can obviously hire that out because it can be complicated. But video is key. Let me show you one thing here. Let's see if I can switch something. I might have to switch my screen here. All right, so virtual tours. This is something, again, because of safety reasons, it's becoming very popular. But also think how many companies have management all over the country. Think how many of companies are owned by overseas companies, or just a safety issue, right? Maybe we don't want everybody in our facility because of COVID or just any other reason. These virtual tours are becoming more and more popular. So this is something we recently did a couple months ago. We're actually going back in next week to do an update on this. So you can actually look around. You can move around. You can kind of walk through the facility, and it's like you're there in person. There's different data points. You can, pop up these. You can pop up a picture or an extra video. And so this is like you are really there. And then also you could send this to maintenance people. So maybe you don't want maintenance people getting lost or whatever. You can know exactly, you can send them, this, show them exactly where they're going to be, what they're going to be working on, and they know. And then lastly, there's this measurement tool. So you can measure, okay, how long or how far is it, is this entryway here? Oh, it's 7 feet 6 inches. How helpful is that? So I'm going to go back to my slides here. Maybe. Hold on. There we go. All right, so now we're going to talk about actual e-commerce, and I can't go on without promoting the master himself's book, right? I actually have it on my desk as well, and I had it on my desk before this webinar. So if you haven't read Curt's book, Stop Being the Best Kept Secret, you have to read it. You have to read it. So that's just a little promo there as a something you should consider. So why e-commerce for manufacturing is important? I mean, I get it a lot of times. People say, well, not in our industry, Jeff. Well, customers are wanting to shop 24/7, and it's a way to stand out from your competition. And obviously times are changing, with trade shows being maybe virtual for a while and other selling tactics becoming less viable. What if you did put things online? And it helps you diversify and experiment to see if this is even possible. And then obviously the internet has leveled the playing field. So It used to be you had to go through channel partners, distributors, and other means. And maybe you can think about, what if we went direct to the customer? Is that possible? Again, I just want to give ideas. I'm not saying it is possible. Just want to ask those questions. So let's talk about e-commerce. A couple things with e-commerce is, and I see this a lot. Is there consistent photography, descriptions, titles, videos, or is it just cobbled together? And I get it. You might have hundreds, thousands of products and SKUs, but why not start with your top selling 10% and optimize those? Imagine if you could even increase that and increase your online sales by 10%, 5% even. That might be a game changer. Far too often I see companies that really minimize their e-commerce part of their website. It's kind of this thing they don't really care about. Well, why? It's a 24/7 sales tool. Like, why not prioritize it versus minimizing it? So that's just my soapbox there. I'll try to get off that here real quick. But then consider that product videos increase the likelihood of purchase by 85%. Okay, so what if you, and I'm saying you with your phone here, start to take a couple videos of your top selling products, whether it's demos or setup or how to fix it. And what if you put that on your website, but also in your e-commerce side of things? You might see tremendous improvement in conversion rates. And typically we do see that when you prioritize your website. So with, let me go back to my slide there. With another thing with e-commerce to make it easier for your customers is live chat. And this could be done whether you have an e-commerce store or not. But people are kind of lazy, or we're all multitasking, right? So sometimes people would rather bang out a little message through the live chat versus calling somebody, maybe being on hold and just that awkward thing. So we've seen a lot of benefits to the companies that we work with that add live chat. And they can move that person from department to department, so if that's appropriate. It's time stamped. They can add a ticket. It's fantastic. You can even tie it to people's cell phones. So some of the companies we work with, or that are on 24-hour cycle, they want people in every time zone or every branch or facility to be able to get those. So we can tie those to different departments, cell phones, personnel, things like that. And then lastly, this is something that a lot of companies that have e-commerce don't necessarily consider is, what can you bundle together to increase your sales? So whether it's upsells, cross-sells, subscriptions, how can you add more value and get more revenue, right? So you're, again, customer centric. What can you do that will give more value to your customer than your competition? It was interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said kind of that old verbiage, like always be closing, right? ABC. It was like, no. It should be ABG, always be giving. And I love that. I want to leave that with you, is with all of these, like, how can you give more, help more to your ideal customer? And that'll obviously come back to you. All right. So that's what I want to leave you with is that mentality, that mindset. Last two things here, or last one thing is, I have some ebooks on the homepage of my website at truefocusmedia.com. One's about some of these things we talked about with your website. Some of it's how to optimize video marketing, and the other is more on the e-learning and training side. So feel free to download those, one or both of them, whatever. And that's just kind of my gift to you. And just want to open it up for questions, but be thinking of your marketing is how can we automate this stuff, right? We don't want to have to put a lot of personnel, manpower, women power behind it. How can we automate our marketing, our website, and our e-commerce?
Wow, that was awesome. Gosh, that was good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm standing ovation. So yeah, we got to do these, right?
Yeah.
So Does anybody have, again, we want to be respectful of time, and Jeff, you just absolutely crushed it.
Yeah.
You end right on time. Thank you. And does anybody have any questions on what Jeff just covered? You're more than welcome to put it into the chat box. One thing that I wanted to, I was taking a bunch of notes, and I wanted to, hey, thanks for plugging my book, man, by the way. So,
Of course. It's a great book.
Lilo, that was, so yeah, I did a little workshop yesterday, and I was just hammering the book, and we had a lot of laughs about that. So, but Jeff, how do you find like your strategies? Like, do you find, how do you get through like some of the resistance? You know, a lot of manufacturers been doing it for a long time. A lot of legacies are in place. How do you get through those, how do you break through those legacy challenges, if you will?
Yeah, and I get that, right? A lot of times it's kind of the simple question of, well, are you happy in it? Like, is your business doing what you want it to?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you making those revenue goals? Are you growing and scaling? Or do you have new blood coming in? Or is it stagnant? And if they're not desiring change, I can't usually change them very well.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of the first thing. But
Right.
just also figuring out, you know, everything, those 7 things I covered. We don't do all of those at once, of course. You know, we
Right.
stair step it, you know, with
Yeah.
any company, but just figuring out like what's going to give the biggest bang for the buck. Let's start there. So it's a simple approach of let's just splash around in the shallow end of the pool before we jump into the deep end and hopefully don't drown. You know, we'll get used to each stage that when we're in the deep end, we look like Olympic swimmers.
Right. And, you know, when you cover a huge scope, I know, Damon, you've covered a huge scope of different size businesses. So say from like a small little family mom and pop shop, all the way, like you said, up to, you know, a Fortune 500 or what have you. Do you find that your approach is any different with the smaller company, more small, you know, family run versus the bigger, or kind of, you know, are there more bureaucracy, or how does that?
Yeah, well, it's faster to implement with a smaller company, right? But obviously there's tends to be more resources with a bigger company.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like, well, I've worked with them all, but sometimes that medium size is a sweet spot. You know, they have
Right.
the time, the resources, the people to get it done. But it's all about if a smaller job shop wants to get it done, they're going to make a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's true with us too. You know, it really is if you want to make it happen, you will. And I think today that one of the things, if Jeff can agree or disagree on this, is I think that people are used to videos. They don't have to be a grandiose production anymore.
Right.
Your phone can take a video that's more than good enough quality if you just plan it out a little bit. And that's really what I see a lot of happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Get started, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't need a big production company like us. Just get started. And a lot of times it's the content, the material is the gold, you know? Obviously we can make it pretty and all that, but that's, you know, not always necessary.
Yeah. Well, and the delivery ways that you have behind it. I mean, just the simple thing you were talking about in the video where if someone in a manufacturing company came up with a good little video, but then they could collect the person's name and email address that watched that video, that is a really good indicator to someone that might be interested in what you're doing or the product that was made in that video or whatever. You know, it really is a good way.
Yeah. And I didn't mention this before, but we can even put a little call button on that video. So somebody's watching on their phone and they want to, like, you know, call now and learn more, boom, done. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's immediate. So some cool things that we can do. I didn't even mention half of them. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think maybe what we'll do is we're going to have Jeff come back and we might do like a whole video session.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, thanks a lot, Jeff. Curt, take us away and we'll go back to the tables when you're ready.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, again, our first time, Jeff's our lead off. Thank you for the folks that stuck around. Thank you for taking time to join us. And we are thrilled. We're doing this every Friday, and we'll see. We'll jump back again. If this is new to you, we'll jump over to the table so we can have a more intimate chat and ask Jeff questions. We're going to stick around for a while, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.